When will you really start serving Hashem? That's the question that we finished off in chapter 5 as we move now into chapter 6. Now, most people don't say that they're not going to serve Hashem. They just say, I'm going to do it later. They're going to procrastinate on that matter. Later, perhaps when business is doing better, when it's more stable. Later, when there's enough money saved up in the 401k for the kids, for themselves, for the grandkids. Later, when finally life slows down a little bit. But the truth is, life doesn't slow down. It only gets busier and more hectic. Now, Shaar HaBitachon over here in chapter 6 opens with a warning. If serving Hashem depends on you feeling secure, you will never ever begin service of Hashem. Because the person waiting for enough, they've already chosen in what they decided to trust. And Bitachon doesn't start when life is calm. It starts when you stop waiting. I'm Ravav, and this is Shaar HaBitachon. Tell me something. When does later become right now? Not tomorrow, not next year, not when things calm down, not when your savings account, your 401k finally feels comfortable. Because if serving Hashem depends on those perfect conditions, then serving Hashem is something that will never ever begin. You know, we just finished chapter 5, and Rabbeinu Bachya in Chovos Avodas leaves us with a haunting question. And in the end of chapter 5, he asks the question from this person who lacks Bitachon. And the question is, when will you truly begin to serve Hashem? When are you going to start doing your avodah? And the man answers confidently, and he says, when I have enough saved for myself, for my wife, for my children, and even for my grandchildren. Now, chapter 6 over here opens and says like this. That answer sounds like the responsible adult that you should be, but it's one of the greatest illusions a person can live with. Quick pause for just a moment. If this shiur is helping you think deeper, live with more clarity, and builds your trust, your bitachon in Hashem, I want you to know that this channel, the Ravav channel, exists only because of people like yourself who believe in this mission. I've created a Patreon for those who want to be partners in spreading this mission across the world. Torah that speaks to the heart, that strengthens the heart. Supporters get access to bonus content, deeper discussions, and help make it possible for me to keep producing these shiur more consistently. No pressure at all. It's just an open invitation for those who'd like to join that. Now, back to our shiur. Here's an example. There was once a man who kept a document on his laptop, and that document was called When Things Slow Down. That's the name of the document, that folder. Inside, it was everything he planned to do, to learn seriously every day, to dive in with focus every single day, 3 times a day, to be present with his family, to get involved in charities and organizations and chesed, to give Hashem his best energy, not his leftovers, not what's left at the end of the day, really his best energy. And every few months, he would go and open that file, and then he'd close it right away. Because things hadn't slowed down. Work was busy, and that might have been temporary or not, but work was busy. The kids were young for now, and the money still needed stability. The pressure would ease eventually. Years passed by. And one day, while this individual was upgrading his computer, the technician that was helping him move the files asked, "Do you want to transfer all the old files?" And the man pauses for a second and he looks at the computer. That document, that folder, was still there, was still untouched. And suddenly he realized that life doesn't slow down, it only fills up, it gets busier, it gets more chaotic. And the saddest part, he wasn't lazy, he wasn't careless, he was just waiting to feel safe. I want you to understand something. Rabbeinu Bachya in Shaar HaBitachon, he opens up chapter 6 by confronting this mindset, confronting it really head on. The person says, once I'm secure, then I'll serve Hashem. And Rabbeinu Bachya, over here in Chovos HaLevavos, he answers. Security is it's not something that you arrive at. It's not something that you just earn at some point. It's something that you keep chasing and it keeps moving. It's a variable that's constantly moving. Children grow, expenses multiply, worries expand, responsibilities never shrink. They always just get bigger. There's always another bill, another obligation, another reason to delay, to procrastinate in serving Hashem. And so the Yetzer Hara, what he does really, really well, he whispers in your ear and he says, not now. You're being responsible. You're doing the right thing right now. Later, when you're settled. But here, in chapter 6, it teaches us something shocking. The person who waits to serve Hashem until he feels safe, he's already chosen what he trusts. And we know that that's the money. Because if you trusted Hashem, you wouldn't need everything else in place first. You wouldn't need to have the money, the financial stability, everything else to be in place. Bitachon doesn't say to you, secure your future, then serve Hashem. Bitachon, what it says to us is, serve Hashem now, and your future is going to be secured by Hashem. Your livelihood doesn't come because you delayed Hashem. It comes from Hashem. He is the source. So you're pushing away the source. Time doesn't wait for financial comfort. Life doesn't pause until your fears are satisfied, till you feel comfortable. And the tragedy over here, it's not that people reject Hashem. It's not that people don't believe in Hashem. It's that they just keep postponing meeting with Hashem, talking to Hashem, davening to Hashem, learning. So chapter 6 begins with one real truth. If serving Hashem depends on one day, that day is never going to come. Bitachon begins the moment a person says, I don't serve Hashem after life works out. I serve Hashem so that my life can work out the way it should. And the only time that exists for that decision is right now. Thank you everyone for joining me here today. And as always, I love you all.